Welcome. Thank you for showing up for your practice today. Today is beginning a new series, and this series is going to be focused on the posture called Kurmasana. And Kurma is actually called tortoise. A tortoise posture is what we'll be working to get our bodies into. And Kurma is the incarnation of Vishnu. Vishnu is considered the preserver or maintainer of the universe, and this posture requires a lot of hip opening. If you have tight hamstrings through the backs of your thighs, maybe you have back issues, maybe you have pain in your back, you have tightness in your back, or other issues going on, then this class will be the class for you. And each time we do the class, this is called stage 1 of Kurmasana. So we'll be doing some standing postures, we'll be doing some seated postures, but it's all gonna lead us on this journey as we progress to stage 2 for the same posture, which will be more of an intermediate. And then if you stay tuning, then there'll also be a posture Supta Kurmasana, which is stage 3, advanced posture. And you know, stage 3 is one of those, maybe you're like, I don't care about going that deep, but even if you don't, to be able to open your body and find that deep stretch is amazing, to be able to keep flexibility, mobility, and to keep space in your joints. So thank you for joining me, and let's get started. We're going to begin today standing, and you may want to have a blanket, 2 blocks, and a strap. And if you don't, then I will try to help you show modifications for that. So today when we begin, we're going to be focusing on forward bending, because that's what's going to open the back line of the body, especially that connective tissue. We're going to work on moving down and toward the buttocks and down into the hamstrings. We'll work on hip opening. So in Kurmasana, we do require shoulder opening, but we will eventually work into shoulder opening. Today's focus is more on the lower body. So if you'll start at the top of your mat in Tadasana, mountain pose. As you come to standing, take a moment to lift and spread your toes. Ground through the 4 cornerstones of your feet. Draw your shoulders up and move them back. So you feel a sense of lengthening from hip to armpit, and now you just feel a sense of opening and flattening the collarbones as you open the chest. There's a engagement through your upper shoulders, through the posture muscles through here, so you feel your shoulder blades wrapping into your back body. Find stillness. On your next inhale, sweep your arms up. Now really stretch up. Extend, feel the rib cage expanding, lengthen through your arms. And on the exhale, float your arms back down and gently bring your chin towards your chest. Inhale, root down, rise up, lift. Exhale, fold back in again, chin to chest, warming up the neck. Inhale, extend, really lengthen, spread your fingers, lift and spread your toes. And exhale, gently bring your chin to your chest. From here, inhale, lift your head, roll your shoulders up, back and down. So just beginning to warm up the body before we move into going into deeper postures. Pause, shoulders back. Now revolve, move them forward as you roll them back, up and forward. So we're moving from the front body into the back and then back to the front body. Last one. On your next inhale, stretch up, lift up, open up, lift your toes, feel those 4 cornerstones. Hands come to your hips. Now listen slowly and carefully. This is where we're hip hinging, not waist bending. If you're not sure of that, you can pause the video and work at trying to create this in your body. So instead of rolling down like a rag doll, this is a different type of stretch. We're working on maintaining the alignment of your spine. So you want to make sure that you have these alternating curves, and when you're bending, you're not waist bending, we're hip hinging. So bring your hands back on your hips, pull your elbows back. Inhale, ground through your foundational points of your feet and lift your heart toward the sky. As you exhale, begin to hip hinge. So if you have tightness, this is where you're going to bend the knees. As you slowly start to come down, just slide those hands down where you can. Now lift your shoulders. So this is going to take some effort here. So instead of having the round hump back, draw your shoulders, arm bones up, and that will lift your shoulders into the back body. Inhale, lengthen your spine again. Lower belly is toning here, so tone your lower belly. And then as you exhale, slowly see if you can come down a little bit more. So if you have blocks, this is where you could grab your blocks and bring your hands up on blocks, and that would make it more doable. If you have a chair, a folding chair, kitchen table chair, whatever you have, you can put your hands in the chair also. All right, hands to the hips. Inhale, push down, come back up. Exhale, release back into mountain pose, Tadasana. Just take a moment and feel through your back line. You should feel a little more sensation, more blood flow. Inhale, rise up, spread your fingers, lift your toes again, engage fully as you stretch up. Exhale, lead with your heart with that hip hinge. You can bring your hands to your hips, elbows toward the sky, because that will remind you to bring the shoulders into the back. As you hip hinge, hands can rest on the shins. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Now just find your variation of your forward fold here. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold back in again, deepen. Inhale, half lift, reach. Exhale, fold back in again, deepen. Last one, inhale, half lift. And exhale, fold back in again. Slowly from here, plant your hands on blocks, bend your knees. You're going to step your right foot back and drop your knee down. Untuck your toe and press through the top of the foot. So if you're already feeling like you're being pushed into your leg, come up on blocks so you can draw your shoulders back but yet still have that support here. So we're working on dropping the pelvis down and forward, so we're opening through the front of the right hip and thigh. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, you're going to shift your hips back, and now you're going to come into that hamstring stretch here. Press through the ball of your foot and spread your toes to create some muscular engagement. Hold here. Try to feel that you're balancing the weight equally between the left hip and the right hip. So in other words, you don't want to hike that hip up. You want to feel this outer left buttock and sits bone wrap back under. So you are aligned from the sits bone to the back of the knee. Anatomical term is called ischial tuberosity, but if you're not sure what that is, just feel right here and you'll feel that knob-like bone, and that is your sits bone. On your next inhale, bring your hip back forward again. Lift through the chest and try to lift up through the spine. So as you start lifting up through the spine, you're going to feel like you're going deeper into that stretch through the hip and thighs. If it gets to be too much, come up a little bit. Come out of it a little bit. Scissor your legs to create some support here. Feeling that muscular engagement, and then stretch it slowly back out as you push in the opposite direction. Take one more full deep inhale and exhale here. Inhale, see if you can lengthen up and maybe rest back a little more. That's going to give you a little more opening through the front of that right hip and thigh as you move the torso further back. This time as you exhale, slowly release the hips back. press that foot up, hold it here. You can use blocks here too. So blocks are really a good thing to have. So if you're having trouble getting the shape, maybe you're like, oh, my leg, it's so tight. This is all you can do. You can bring your blocks up higher. So you have to adapt to where you are. You have to meet yourself where you are, and you have to adapt to that. And then slowly, little by little, as you come to your mat and you practice, then you're going to say, whoa, well, I think I can go a little bit further. Then you'll slowly, slowly, slowly start to stretch it out. And then as you keep coming back to your mat again and again and again, because that's what it usually takes. I mean, think about sometimes when people get hurt or they've gotten into bad patterns and now they've got aches and pains, and well, how long have you been like that? So you have to think of it that way too. And then as you get more open, you can start to go a little bit deeper into it. Take one more full deep breath here. On your next inhale, bring yourself back up. Exhale, bring that hip forward now. Tuck your back toe under. Inhale, lift to high lunge. Now as you exhale, we're just going to stay right here on it. This is where the blocks may come in for sure as you come up to your feet on this one. So we can come up onto the blocks. Let's go ahead and just make the space now. And then you can bend your knees and then slowly work on squaring the hips, because we're trying to compensate, and usually this hip gets kicked out and elevated and the back leg hip usually drops down lower. So we're trying to square our hips up here. Once you can square the hips up from here, then see if you can extend back through the heel. So I'm not concerned about you stepping that right foot in right now, because I want you to get deeper and have space for the right heel to release closer to the ground, so you're stretching deep down into that Achilles tendon and calf. So you can come out if it gets to be too much. You can just bend and come out of it and then slowly extend it back. And you can just work this way, kind of teasing it out and getting it to slowly, slowly start to open. And it will. You will be amazed at how much progress you can make just by being with it, just, working with it. Okay, take one more full deep inhale and exhale here. And then slowly rebend. So now let's just see if we can go maybe a little bit deeper into it. Hold here. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, go back and extend. Maybe check back. Maybe bend those knees again. Square your hips, and then re-extend through your legs. And then just work on finding your stretch. Now, notice I'm not like this over my leg. So if you've gone back to this default habit that you have, I want you to bend your knees, extend your spine. Think of it like cow pose. Square your hips, and then slowly start to stretch through the legs little by little. As you stretch through the legs little by little, then you can stretch the arms forward. But this is a way I'm keeping my spine long and I'm not allowing it to round. If you want more stability, you can always bring that back heel in and straighten it out and then go into the stretch. Take a couple of more deep inhales and exhales. Inhale, rebend the knee. Exhale, step your right foot to meet your left. Go ahead and just clasp your elbows. Frame your ears if you can. Bend your knees if it's too much. And then slowly start to stretch your legs towards straight again. So you can bend. And then you can slowly start to extend the legs towards straight. So little by little, you will start to open up those tissues, get more blood flow, get more oxygen, and those tissues will come alive for you. Come alive. Bring your hands to your hips, push down and rise all the way back up to standing. Okay, so that took care of the front of the right hip and thigh and the back of the left hip and thigh. So now we're going to reverse that and give the other side some love. So it's coming back into that mountain pose, Tadasana. Lift and spread your toes, reconnect here. Ground your energy. Inhale, stretch it all the way up. Exhale, use your hip hinge as you bow back down again, shoulders on the back. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. So we know tortoise is slow, and that's deliberately why I picked tortoise pose, because I'm trying to slow things down in my life. I don't want to get into this, I'm busy, I'm snowballing, I'm, going down the mountain so fast. So I'm trying to slow things down. So I have made it my mission for starting this month, the month of March 2023, I am beginning to deepen my practice to work toward a deeper opening. And I know it's going to take time, and I'm going to slow my mind down and slow my body down. On your next inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, fold back in again. Bend your knees, plant your hands, step your left foot back into the lunge now. Untuck your toe. Again, if you're feeling jammed into your thigh, like you're not able to lengthen your spine upwards, then go ahead and grab your blocks. Bring them on whatever setting feels like that is doable for you. If you're struggling, then you have to use props, because it's like the best way to access where you're trying to go. So a lot of people are so wrapped up in the final form of the posture that they're missing the joy that comes from the process. And yes, it's not always joy. It can be, whew, I'm done with that. And it's always for now. All right, inhale, lengthen, opening now through the front of the left hip and thigh. And as you exhale, move your seat back, stretch that right foot up, and keep it as if you're standing through it. So if you see it sickling, which means the pinky toe edge is turning in, you're compensating for that tight hamstring you got. So just push out through that big toe ball mound and draw the pinky toe side of your foot back towards your outer shin, and use that little gas pedal foot there. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, go right back into that deep stretch here. Breathe deep. Really press through the top of your foot, the left foot, the back foot, into all 5 toenails, because that's going to help bring a sense of anchoring, so there's not so much pressure in the hip. So if you pull from the toes and engage the legs, you will actually feel like you just kind of lifted up out of that hip a little bit, instead of feeling like you're dumped into the hip. It's juicy when you do that, because when you pull in like that and you feel those muscles wrap and you feel that space come into the joint, it's like, that feels so much better. But yes, it's an effort to engage, but it's just making you stronger. On your next exhale, stretch back again. So wherever you are, maybe you're up here on your blocks. Maybe your knee is not straight yet. It doesn't matter. You enjoy the process. And as you come back to your mat again and again and you practice, you will be amazed at what unfolds for you. You will be amazed at your progress. Inhale, lengthen your spine. On your next exhale, rebend. Inhale, stretch the spine up, press the hips forward and down. Exhale, hold here. Okay, so the next one, you might want your blocks. You can bring your blocks next to you, tuck your back toe under, take a deep breath in, exhale, push up. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, begin to stretch through your legs. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend. So find your variation for you, for what you need. And really, when you see people going deeper into the stretch, it's because they have to go there to feel it. But someone that may be tight, inhale, bend. Drop it down, lift the spine. Exhale, extend. Some may be really tight. So say I'm tight through my right hamstring and I can't straighten my knee. And then I'm having trouble reaching the floor and I can't lengthen my spine. And my calf back here is so tight, I can't straighten the back leg. So you just step in a little bit. So this is part of, yes, I'm guiding you, but it's up to you to figure out things for yourself while you're going through this process. Oh, this works really good. This actually feels good. It's just such a journey. Inhale, bend again. Press down, hip and thigh forward. And exhale, extend. If you want that stability now that you feel like you've stretched out your Achilles tendon in the calf, step that left foot in, bend your knees, draw the right hip back and try to stretch out through your legs. Inhale, get more length through your spine. As you exhale, begin to deepen into that stretch to your capacity. Keep reaching and deepening into your stretch. So wherever that is and whatever that looks like, it's perfect because you're getting something from it. You're getting what you need to open up those tissues, that connective tissue that's maybe is like cement now and it needs to be broken up. Those muscles that need to be stretched and have some tone and elasticity added to them. On your next inhale, come back to center, low lunge. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Inhale, lengthen your spine again. And then exhale, slowly release. Grab your elbows and allow your body to release. You can go back to that teasing out action of bending and extending. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. Now hold here. Inhale in the bend. Exhale, extend. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. So I'm wanting you to figure out which breath feels right to you in the way you're moving. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend. Bring your hands to your hips, draw your shoulders on your back, root down and rise all the way up. Great job. Okay, moving in down to coming onto the ground and doing some seated postures there. So that little standing series that we did to open up your hips and thighs, we did forward fold. We also did the low lunge, but kept the back knee off the mat at some point when we got up to go into pyramid. And then now we'll work on a couple of seated poses. Inhale, back to mountain and stretch the arms up. Exhale, hinge, come all the way down, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Step your right foot back, release the knee. Step the left foot back, release the knee. Let's just do a few cow and cats to release any tension through your spine. Coming into tabletop pose, your knees are directly under the hip bones. Bring your hands and your shoulders forward over the wrist so that you have length from hip to armpit. Keep the head a natural extension so your chin should not be in your chest or lifting up until we move into the cow and cat. So we're finding neutral first. There's a little tone in the lower belly that is important to stabilize your lower back. Inhale, neutral spine. Exhale, hold. Now beginning into that cow position, inhale, move your inner thighs and groins back. Feel your sits bones move apart. Now push down through your arms and your finger pads and palms and lift the heart through the gateway of the arms. Keep looking like you're trying to look up toward the ceiling, or if you're outside, toward the sky. Now start at the base of the spine. As you exhale, you'll start at the root of the spine and slowly begin to articulate each vertebra. When you feel those shoulders part like the Red Sea, gently release your neck and head down. Inhale, start at the root of the spine, moving back into that extension into cow pose. Really stretching. You should feel this all the way through the rib cage, all the way into the belly, maybe all the way into the pelvis. Exhale, start at the root of the spine and slowly round back into that cat position. And then inhale, come back to neutral spine. Exhale, hold. Then release your seat towards your feet. And then we'll bring our hips to the mat, our sits bones, and stretch our legs forward. And then kind of walk on those sits bones. So in those stretches that we were doing to stretch through the hamstring, when we had one knee down and we were going from lunge to runner stretch with extending one leg, and then we came up onto our feet and did basically the same thing, went from a high lunge into a pyramid pose stretch. It's very important that you realize that if you feel a lot pulling at the sits bone, that should be like a red flag, because you do not want to tear the attachment of that muscle, of the hamstring. So there's a tendon attaching that muscle. So if you're feeling more there, you need to back off. You need to bend your knees more. Really make sure that you're not rounding your back, because that's pulling on everything when you do and creating compression in the lumbar spine. Okay, we're going to bend our knees. Find those sits bones, and you want to have your feet far enough away from you that you can push into them. They shouldn't feel like they're not connected or even too close. Like you can actually push into them. Now grab the front of your shins, lift through your spine, draw your lower belly in and up and draw those shoulders on your back body. Inhale, stretch your arms all the way up. As you exhale, grab the front of the shins and pull your heart forward. So look at my back. I am not waist bending. I'm hip hinging, and I'm leading with my heart. My lower belly's toning. My shoulders are on my back. Go to your capacity without uprooting. Inhale, stretch it back up, get length, really reach. I'm pushing with my feet and I'm pulling up like I'm trying to reach up into the clouds. And as I exhale, I'm going to grab the top of those shins, use it like to help draw my spine forward. Feel my shoulder blades go onto my back body. One more. Inhale, rise all the way up again. Exhale, grab those shins and pull forward. On your next inhale, come up. Okay, so one thing you want to check is that if you're sitting like this and you immediately posteriorly tilt the pelvis and dump into your back, This is where you're going to want to sit up on a blanket so that you can get that lift out of your lower back here. So you want to make sure you've got that to where you can pull up, because if you're doing this and you're pulling forward, you're going to injure yourself. So please don't dump down into your lower back and then try to pull, because especially if you have weakness in your tendons, your ligaments, your muscles in your back, if you're not conditioned, a conditioned person will be okay because they have flexibility, they have joint stabilization, and they have muscle tone. And if you know that that's not you, it's more important to learn to tone the muscles that's going to keep your posture good in your spine, whether you're standing, whether you're sitting down, whether you're lying down prone on your belly or back in supta on your back, supine. It would be more important to make sure your back is right before trying to go into a deeper hamstring stretch. All right, push down through your feet. We're going to add the lever length of the arms now. So we were just grabbing the shins. Now we're going to inhale, stretch up. Now this is automatically just you reaching is putting more demand on your lower back. So tone your lower belly and push into your feet. Inhale, extend. As you exhale, hinge and reach toward the front of your mat. Inhale, rise up again. Exhale, reach. One more. Inhale, rise up again. Exhale, reach. Now hold here, press your palms down. Now see if you can work yourself down toward the ground with trying to keep your spine from rounding, and then hug your knees towards your outer shoulders. You may be up here still, but that's okay. You just hold wherever you are, because it is a benchmark where you can begin from and move beyond for sure. You won't be stuck there if you keep coming back to your mat and practicing. Oh, I'm getting some good blood flow and stimulation all right here in my lower back. Oh, it feels good, like it woke up. Okay, so guess what pose I am moving toward? Yep, these are the beginning stages of Kurmasana, Tortoise Pose. So this would be the beginner stage, stage 1. You're working first on being able to sit, press into your feet, and use your hip hinge and just start to work. Whether you start like this or like this. So you can start to open your hips, thighs, and lower back. Okay, from here, you should still be here. Inhale, pull yourself all the way back up. Exhale, slowly stretch your legs out. Now just rotate your ankles, your wrist, shake it out. And then we'll draw the soles of our feet together and come into Baddha Konasana, cobbler's pose, and just give it a little butterfly flutter here, just to release maybe any tension that you might feel in your inner adductors, hip flexors. Yeah, so a lot of hip flexor work in Kurmasana, Tortoise Pose. So if you have like tight hips, maybe your psoas is locked short or tight, all of that will be opened up. Those they call it the deep six of the rotators and the hips. All of those will be nourished with this journey of Kurmasana. All right, slowly release, bring your knees together. We're just gonna come down onto our backs, but I'd like you to practice not just flopping down, but using your core strength. So find your sits bones. Inhale, stretch your arms forward. Now as you exhale, I want you to round your spine, draw your belly in towards your back body. And then you're gonna slowly start to come down. Once you come down, release Release your legs out. Just let them roll out like they'll naturally. And then your hands will be about halfway between your shoulders and your hips. As you let your legs release out into the earth, feel the heels touching the earth. So taking a moment to scan these points of contact and releasing them more into the earth to allow your body to relax more. So this is allowing you to integrate by pausing, softening, and just finding stillness in the body and the mind. As you move up through the back of the leg, feel the touch of the calf muscles into the ground. And then even your knee, your whole knee joint in the back isn't touching, but feel the points that feel like they're touching around the knee joint. Up into the back of the thighs. Up into your buttocks. You can also kind of roll a little bit and get more on the sacrum and see if you can feel like you've got a little bit released more heavier into the ground. Feeling the points of contact across your hip bones, rib cage, shoulders, especially your shoulder blades. You can kind of roll and work the shoulder blades to release a little heavier and more of the shoulder blade connected to the earth here. Allows your heart to soften. Moving out through your arm bones, feeling the points of contact through the upper arm bone, the elbow joint, the wrist, the hands, and then bring your awareness now back to your throat center. Swallow, release any tension in your throat. Allowing the back of the skull to be heavy and released into the earth. And then bring your awareness back to your heart center and just focus on the rise and fall of each breath, moving in and moving out. Slowly begin to deepen your breath now, bringing your awareness back to the periphery of your body by bringing gentle movements through the fingers, the toes, and then bend your knees one at a time and place each foot on the mat closer towards your hips. Draw one arm overhead and roll to that side of the body. Pause there onto your side body for a couple of breaths. On your next inhale, push down, pull yourself back up. Come back into your seated posture from which you began. So if you were sitting on a blanket, a bolster, a block, whatever you were sitting on, or maybe you were just sitting on the ground, find that prop and bring it back to where you began and notice if it feels different. Join your palms together at the heart center. Close your eyes. Thank you for joining me for practice today. May this practice give you a more open and spacious back, hips, thighs, and may you feel more space internally From my heart to yours, namaste. Okay, I will see you in the next video, still working toward Kurmasana stage 1, and this is day 1. See you next time.